Jed here from Retiring Disgracefully. Just going to do a quick report here from Mai Beach. As usual, I'll give you a quick look. It's deserted. No one here, no tourists. And which is the reason I'm talking to you today actually. This is just a quick report about the news I've just heard this morning about insurance for any retirees coming in or already living here on the OA retirement visa. Thailand is, same as the rest of the world, is going through a very bad time here now with COVID. And you would think that they would the government would try and, attract people to come here. At the moment you can't really attract tourists because people aren't travelling, people aren't leaving their own countries, and even if they do, it's making it too hard to enter another country. So things are very difficult here in Thailand at the moment. They had 40 million tourists before the year before COVID. This year there's nothing. Look, here's Mai Beach. It's now about 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday afternoon in October, and there's no one on the beach, there's no one in the shops, there's no one in the restaurants or bars. So Thailand's doing it tough, and I would have thought that the Thailand government would try to think of some ways to attract people to come here. And I have always thought the best people you can get to come here are people who are going to live here long term. Backpackers come here and they spend quite a long time here, but they spend very little per day. Tourists come here before COVID, and they might spend 2 or 3 weeks here and spend big, but then they go back for the other 11 months of the year to their own country. Whereas you get retirees who come here, like myself. I spend all my money here. I rent a house. One day I might buy a place. I buy vehicles, cars, motorbikes. I spend money in restaurants, bars, Tesco Lotus for food, or Big C for food. Every day I'm spending my money 365 days a year. So they get a good income from retirees who come and live here. Other countries in the world realise that, and they make it easier for retirees to live in their countries. In South America or Central America, they try to attract people from the USA, and they give them incentives and make the system easy so they can get a retirement visa, because they know if they get 50,000, 100,000 retirees living in their country spending all their pensions every week, it's a lot of money for the economy. Thailand's economy has gone down the toilet, so you would think they would want to make it attractive for retirees who might want to live here. But unfortunately the opposite is true. One of the things I want to tell you today about is the COE, the certificate of entry. Well, they said they were going to simplify it. That was about 5 days ago, but nothing's been said since. There's nothing on the news, nothing. It's just words, just hot air as usual, saying we're going to change it to attract more people, but in the end nothing's come of it. And very much so what the news I heard today, which is the Thailand government are now, for retirees here, are now going to up the ante on the hospital insurance that you need to live here as a retiree. Up until today, you needed 400,000 baht worth of travel insurance, not travel insurance, sorry, hospital insurance. If you get sick while you're retired here, you're covered. You can go to any hospital and you're covered for at least 400,000 baht, which is more than enough for most ailments. They've now changed that today to 3 million baht, 8 times more, which means the premiums, I would imagine, I haven't checked that yet, but I would imagine they're going to be at least 7 or 8 times more also. So what you found difficult before, trying to pay every month, is going to be 8 times more difficult to do now. So what they're doing, instead of attracting retirees, they're actually pushing them away. I love living in Thailand, but I'm going to have to wait and see what comes of this. Maybe I'm going to have to look at another country to retire to. There's plenty of them. I don't want to move. I love living here. I love the people. But I just can't understand why they don't make it more attractive. Malaysia makes it more attractive. Perhaps that's somewhere I should look to in the future if things don't change. But I love Thailand. I like Malaysia, but I love Thailand. But they're making it so hard for me to live here. I'm going to still do my retirement visa this year. That's due on the 27th of November. So I'm going to stick with that. Then that will give me 1 year to sort out, to see what the government are doing, because they might do a backflip, and then they quite often do. So they might say 3 million today, and for hospital insurance, then tomorrow they might say, oh, okay, it's 800,000, we're going to double it, not from 400,000 baht. And that's okay, I can understand it. They don't want to be left out of pocket if someone goes into hospital and doesn't have enough money to pay the bill. So as I say, I can really understand it, but they do need to think a little bit more about attracting quality people to this country while there's no tourism. When tourism comes back, they can get blasé about it and be picky and choosy. But at the moment, everywhere's closed. There's nothing open. People are doing it tough. They're expecting their government to rise to the occasion and try and get people to live back here in the land of smiles, of whatever. Well, it's not the land of smiles anymore, in Thailand. Okay, I'll read to you exactly what the new criteria is for the OA visa, retirement visa for getting health insurance. I'll read it directly from Tiger online news, and I'll put a link in so you can link to the Tiger news as well, and you can see for yourself exactly if there's any changes down the track. The headline is Thailand requires 3 million baht insurance for retirement visas. And it goes on to say, in revision to the rules for non-immigrant OA visas, foreigners will now be required to hold a minimum of 3 million baht in health insurance for inpatient services. In order to be eligible for long-term stays in Thailand, which is 8 times more than the 400,000 baht that had been previously required. The OA visa, also known as the retirement visa or geezer visa for oldies, according to the PBS World, the new rule was announced yesterday by the Deputy Minister of Health, Satit Pitujatacha, saying that the increase in the insurance necessary to make sure, should a traveller get ill during their 1 year in the country, more insurance money available is necessary to guarantee they receive the proper treatment. They're going to say that the massively increased insurance requirement would be for foreigners with non-immigrant visa, including OA visas, staying up to 1 year inside of Thailand. Due to the strict border control that closed entry to nearly everyone, just 3,768 expats and foreign travellers were granted non-immigrant visas in all of 2021. So, big drop. The Health Ministry says that insurance policies can be purchased from their home country or domestically within Thailand, but must stipulate that the coverage must maintain that minimum of 3 million baht or the equivalent if the policy is issued in a foreign currency. So it has to be to the amount of 3 million baht. The announcement, I think this is Thai Tigers have a little bit of input here. The announcement will likely be met with displeasure and backlash from the international travellers hoping to make Thailand their home long term, or at least for 1 year. It's especially difficult for those hoping to retire in Thailand, as insurance policy premiums are infamous for skyrocketing once the applicant passes a certain age, like me. I turn 70 in 2 weeks' time. I know when I go to apply for 3 million bahts worth of hospital insurance, it'll be astronomical. It goes on to say, increasing exposure exponentially with age, under the assumption that the older people are, the more prone to illness and accidents they are, which is common sense. Yes, I'm obviously more prone to getting hospitalised sickness than, say, my son is, who's only 32. So yes, you do have to pay, but whether you need 3 million bahts worth and whether you can afford 3 million bahts worth, that's the problem. As Thailand releases plan after plan to lure back tourists, many complain that the complicated entry process, the rising costs and the constant changes to immigration policy not to the benefit of international travellers seems to be simultaneously pushing away the same expats with money that the country espouses to be courting. So yeah, they're pushing, they're saying we want them, we want you to come in, come to Thailand, come and live in Thailand, but then the rules that they're putting in place, the hoops they want you to jump through, the amounts they want you to spend, is defeating the object. People will look at other countries. People in Europe might look at Spain or Portugal. People in America might look at Belize, Panama, places like that, the Caribbean. So, for me, I really have to seriously consider thinking about moving somewhere else. I think I'm going to get my visa this month, 27th of next month, sorry. I'll get my visa on the 27th of November as usual. I'll have to bite the bullet probably and take a year's insurance, because I don't like running around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to get out of the country in the next few months. That will give me a year to find out what to do after the next 12 months. But at the moment, everything's a little bit up in the air, and I'm gonna have to make some decisions quite soon. What is the right thing for me and my life in retirement? Okay, I'll give you an update on the COVID cases here in Thailand for yesterday, the 20th of October. The confirmed cases dropped by a considerable amount, down to about 8,918, which I think was down by about 1,500 people. So Thailand is still heading in the right direction to reduce the pandemic. Unfortunately, TAT, the Thailand Tourist Authority, still have not released any figures for Koh Samui. They haven't for quite a few days now. I'm hoping it's just a blip and not a problem. I'm hoping that it's just that they haven't bothered, but there's not been a spike and they don't want the people to know. So nothing new to report there. But it was quite pleasing that they seem to be dropping now. We're getting 8,900 yesterday. That's great, because a few weeks ago it was 22,000 a day. So it's heading in the right direction. So we'll go back to Jed, our reporter at Mai Beach, and he can give you a little bit more news. These little videos I'm making, they're just for information. I'm not expanding too much on anything else at the moment. I will do some good videos again about nice things on the island, because it seems to me that's all I'm doing is whinging and having a rant, which I'm not. To be quite, I'm not whinging. I'm just shaking my head that they keep putting obstacles in the way. I just went to do my 90-day report this morning. I drove half an hour to Mai Nam, to the immigration office. I get there with all the paperwork I needed for when I was living in Hua Hin. When I get there, I got to the desk. She said, "You need your landlord has to fill in a T3 form." I thought, oh God, it's a new rule. Landlord now has to fill in a T3 form, which he does online, and then has to print it off, give me the copy, and then I come back. I went all the way back, another half-hour drive. Saw my landlady. She said she didn't know anything about that. She's been doing this for years, but she phoned someone in immigration that she knows. He told me to come down, and I went down there, and he handled it in 5 minutes without a TM3 form. So the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing quite often, but for me it was an hour, half an hour drive there, 15 minutes wait in there, half an hour drive back, go and see the landlady, half an hour drive back. So two to 3 hours to do what should have been a 5-minute job. And for me, as I say, I know I'm ranting a little bit, but for me, what is the point of a 90-day report? Yes, this one was because I'd moved from Hua Hin to here. So yes, obviously I changed address, so that had to be done. But when I was living in Hua Hin, I lived in the same place, the same unit for 2 years, the same condo. And every 90 days I had to go and tell them I'm living in the same condo. Why can't you just tell them when you move? Why can't it just be that, okay, I'm living here now, I've nothing to report. It says 90-day report, I'm actually going there and reporting nothing. The only thing I'm reporting is that I'm still in the same place. And then a lot of paperwork, taking up someone's time in immigration, just to tell them nothing's changed. I know you can do this online, but quite often, like today, when I tried online today, it didn't work. The system didn't work. So you've got to go to the immigration office. Now that's not too bad for me, okay, because I've always lived in a tourist town. But if you imagine someone living in the outback of Isan, you know, maybe 3 hours from Khon Kaen, where the nearest immigration is, every 90 days the person has to drive for hours to do this 90-day report and then drive back, just to tell the people in the immigration office that you haven't moved. So, as I say, I know it's a rant, and it is. I get annoyed. I go to the immigration office, and more so here in Koh Samui, because I lived here for 2 years before, and it was exactly the same then as it is now. Very, very difficult to know what is the criteria, because it changes not just by the day or the week or the hour, but by the person who's serving you. Well, thanks very much for watching once again. I hope this video helps you a little bit if you're thinking of coming here to retire or to live, regarding the certificate of entry and the health insurance you now need to live here for a 12-month period in Thailand. I know I did rant a little bit, but I probably won't. I'll probably bite the bullet, and even with the extra expense of the health insurance, if I can afford it, because I love living here so much. So it'll take a lot to make me leave. I'm hoping that the government will see sense and yes, okay, charge a little bit more if you want us to pay for more insurance, but don't charge that much that you're turning people away, or people will be leaving as well. I mean, I know lots of expats over the last few years who've left Thailand and gone to places like Malaysia, Cambodia, and Laos even, and the Philippines, because it's easier there, and they got sick of jumping through hoops. So I hope the Thai government sees some sense and think, okay, let's, retirees are, on the whole, quality people. They're here, they don't cause any trouble. They don't come here to cause trouble and make problems for the people of Thailand. They live quiet lives, so I do especially. I live a quiet life. I know I say retire disgracefully, but my life is not over the top. It's just a normal life that I enjoy. And I don't harm anyone, and I don't do any harm to the Thai government. I just live here and enjoy my life. And I pay for that. I pay for the fact that the Thai government have been gracious enough to grant me a visa to live here. and I have never taken that for granted. But if we retirees, we are on the whole good people, and you should be doing more to attract people like us rather than trying to push us away and put obstacles in our way. So that was my rant for the day. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel, push the thumbs up button, and if you know of anyone who is thinking of retiring here to Thailand, please push the link and pass the link on to anyone you think might benefit from watching these videos. Please don't be put off by what I'm saying today about the insurance. There's always, nearly always, there's a backflip. They find out that they've said something and it's not working, so they might backflip, and it could end up that they're not going to ask for 3 million baht. So let's just play it by ear. I'm going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to get my visa for 12 months as usual, and hopefully in 12 months' time I'll still be renewing my visa again, not moving to another country. But it remains to be seen. Okay, until next time, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
The fields of our paths, feelings part our ways, keeping us close but estranged now. Dreams holding us closer, meadows are